Hi there, I'm going to my review for Cold War. So Cold War is a new film by acclaimed director Paweł Pawlikowski. Sorry if I butchered that name. And he is a director best known for making Ida, the award-winning film from a few years back, and this is his new film Cold War. So Cold War is a romance film that plays out against the backdrop of the political turmoil in Europe in the decades after World War II. It plays out in the 40s, 50s and the 60s across many countries, Poland, France, Yugoslavia. It plays out as a story that sort of travels around with these two lovers who are often separated, often apart, but they always love each other and they always come back to each other. And it's a very moving film and a very interesting work. So it's, first of all, it's beautiful. Every single frame of this film is fantastic. It is filmed in this high contrast black and white 4:3. It's just beautiful. It's just fantastic looking. I can't imagine there being almost any film this year is going to look as good as Cold War. It just looks magnificent visually. So the film is just this sort of tender ode to Pawlikowski's parents, kind of, and also to people who love, but whose love is separated by boundaries, by time, by borders. There's a whole thing about love in and of itself transcending time and transcending borders, but I think Cold War is about how that isn't really true. Love is love, and love is just what we call it, but love is shaped by the borders around us, by the separation between people, by the time that passes between one moment and another. The fact that there is long passages of time before the lead couple in this film meet up emphasises that their love is shaped by the distance they are apart, both in space and in time. The fact that they are cut across the Iron Curtain and they're separated from one culture and another culture indicates that their love is indeed split apart, and that I think as they get together and as they fall out, and then as they get together and as they fall out, and as all these things unravel, as they betray each other, as they stick true to each other, as all these things happen, it's almost always because of the cultural shifts and because of the political change and because of the world they're in. And I don't think Cold War is a political film. It's not making a statement on the era, on the politics of that early Cold War period in Europe. Instead, it's showing how love can be altered and can be adjusted, can be changed, and I think ultimately that's what it is. It's an ode to love. It's an ode to what love can be, and how even in a world where times are difficult, where change is forever happening, where there is no consistency between where you are, where your partner is, where happiness is, where the culture is, what your job is. You can be in one country and be sad, and in another country be happy. You can be respected as an artist in one country and someone who's not that respected as an artist in another country. It's about the way that the world splits apart these two characters and how they have to reconcile all of that and maintain their love, or attempt to. And there's a lot of sweetness in this film, but there's also a lot of hardship and a lot of harsh truths. I don't think it's a film which is particularly realistic maybe, but I think it kind of captures the way that someone's relationship and someone's love is not solely defined by their emotions. It's defined by a lot more than that. It's defined by that complex, messy world we live in, by the surroundings, by the settings, by the way that we have to combat conflict and we have to overcome difficulty, and the fact that that may or may not be romantic, and the fact that that is not always something that's going to be appreciated. I think Cold War is a very beautiful film. It's absolutely beautifully shot, it looks wonderful, and it's beautiful at its heart and soul, because I think ultimately it's a real dedication to people who genuinely live lives like this, people who genuinely did live in these times and still found love. It is a massively unreal film and it does jump around, but I think Cold War is kind of just how stories are shared. It kind of represents and emphasises the way that stories are just exaggerated, how it's just these key events in life. In fact, the film jumps around, it cuts from one time period to another really quickly sometimes, and then it just ends, and I think it does so to kind of emphasise just that's how these stories are shared. We don't remember every moment of our lives, but we remember the key moments, the key romantic moments in the relationship, what define the relationship, not the big periods of nothing in the middle. And I think that's kind of what it's going for. I think it's a very tender movie, I think it's very well made, I think it ends on a note that is perfectly unspecific and vague, and I think it's very well handled. I don't think there's going to be many more delicate films this year, and I think it's just wonderful. I really enjoyed Cold War, and I think it's one of the best films I've seen this year, full stop. It's just fantastic, and I have to say it's just an absolute masterpiece, and I hope it really goes on to get more acclaim, more awards, more buzz, because I genuinely think it probably deserves that. So Cold War is fantastic, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. If you've seen it, please let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you want to hear more of my reviews, you can subscribe. If you want to read more of my reviews, you can follow me on Letterboxd or Twitter. Links in the description. Thank you for watching, and Cold War, it's a masterpiece.